Roger Stone here for Colonial Metals Group. Colonial Metals Group helps Americans protect their future with the most trusted store of wealth in human history. That's actual physical gold and silver. If you're retiring or you're retired, go to colonialmetalsgroup.com/stone right now for your free Roger Stone Colonial Metals Group Retirement Protection Kit. Or call 800-747-6589. That's 800-747-6589. Call now to receive your free home safe and up to $7,500 in free silver.
I'm Michael Che.
And I'm Colin Jost. And we've got a little secret. Actually, it's a pretty big secret.
Well, now you gotta give the people something.
No, I'm not saying a word.
Oh, then people won't know to tune in. Come on, tell them a little bit.
Like how we're hosting a live comedy event streaming only on Peacock September 12th.
Exactly.
Or how it's called New York After Dark, and it's a comedy show that only features drop-in comics.
Boom, you nailing it, dude.
Michael Che's phone number's...
Whoa, hey.
New York After Dark, some kind of live comedy thing. September 12th, only on Peacock. You love it.
This is Sid and Friends in the Morning.
77 WABC.
Sitting in the morning sun, I'll be sitting when the evening comes, watching the ships roll in. Then I watch them roll away again. Yeah, I'm sitting on the dock of the bay, watching the tide roll away. Ooh, I'm just sitting on the dock of the bay, wasting time.
The great Otis Redding sitting on the dock of the bay. And Lou, you're telling me that Otis, my man Otis, has a birthday today. He's dead forever, but
been dead for like 55 years.
He's been dead for 55 years?
You know, he died before this song was released.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So he would have been what, like 120 today?
1941.
41, that's 59 plus, he would have been 83. Yeah.
But square root. Yeah, he went after a plane crash, he died.
Is that right?
Yeah, he died in a plane crash.
Not the one with Buddy Holly and the Big Bopper. Everybody died in that crash.
Yeah,
everybody.
That plane was a 200-seater, right? No.
Well, God rest his soul. Happy birthday to the great Otis Redding. So Beningo is going to join us at 9:15 now, after Judge Jeanine Pirro and John Catsimatidis. You know, when I look back to the RNC convention in Milwaukee, which I really enjoyed, I had a great time, me and Danielle. One of the highlights, if not the highlight, was sitting down with Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'd never met Marjorie before. You know, I'm very, very, very close with Congressman Anthony D'Esposito here on Long Island, and Mike Lawler, the king of Rockland County, and Nicole Maliotakis and Molinaro. Those are my folks. Those are New York folks. But I've always been a fan of Marjorie. When I sat down with her and I said, you know, people love you a lot of times, and sometimes not so much. And she was so terrific that I reached out to her folks and said, I want to get it back. This is like 3 weeks ago. And her guy says, September 9th. Oh, great. The day the Jets play the 49ers tonight and the day before the Trump debate. So sure enough, here she is, one of the great Congress people in our country today, and a real American, my friend Marjorie Taylor Greene. MTG, Sid back in New York. How are you?
I'm great. Good morning. How are you?
I'm great. Welcome back to Sid and Friends in the Morning. Are you in Georgia this morning?
Actually, I'm in Washington, D.C. Congress goes back into session today, so I flew in last night.
Okay, cool. I mean, you guys have been off for, and they get mad at me. Oh, we're not off. We're running. We got elections coming up. We're still doing something. We're not off, but you guys have been off for basically a month, yes?
Oh, I'm not mad at you. I think it's ridiculous. Before I was a member of Congress, we worked every day in the construction industry. So, but I don't make the schedule. If I made the schedule in the calendar, things would be a lot different. But yeah, we've been off since the end of July, and we go back in session today. So I always say, hide your wallet. Congress is back in session. It's not a good thing.
Well, you say that it's not ridiculous because you understand, and this is why you're so popular, Marjorie, you understand that the country's in dire shape right now. I mean, it's bad. And you guys almost every day have enough out there to introduce another bill. So it doesn't make any sense to have a day off, let alone 35.
That's right. I totally agree. And, you know, we've got a government funding deadline coming up September 30th. You're going to start hearing in the news about a government shutdown and Congress fighting back and forth and Democrats and Republicans. You'll start seeing that all in the news this month. But the reality is, and it blows my mind, we should be passing a balanced budget. And there's no reason why we can't get together and figure that out. People do it every day in the real world. I know many people that are working 2 jobs now because inflation is so bad, and they're figuring out how to get it done and make ends meet. But for some reason in Washington, D.C., people come into this city and turn into absolute idiots and can't figure out how to get a balanced budget.
Well, look, you are not afraid to criticize people. I find that to be great. You know, Trump's the same way. But people do get nervous when you do stuff like that. So, for example, Mike Johnson, who I'm friendly with, I'll be very transparent. We're friends. I like him. Didn't know McCarthy very well. Didn't have a huge issue with Kevin, but wasn't all that upset when he was ousted. But I can tell you that to this day, my friend Nancy Mace still takes a beating for that. But you were pretty loud about getting rid of Mike Johnson. Are you past that at this point with session starting up today, or are you still upset?
Well, you know, I'm friendly with Mike Johnson, too. He's a nice guy, and it's easy to get along with people that talk nicely, but I'm an actions person. We're over $35 trillion in debt. We have a Democrat administration that legalized an invasion into our country. In Springfield, Ohio, there's 20,000 Haitians that are eating people's pets. And, you know, I'm all about getting a job done. So I can be friends with anybody and everybody, but when the Republican Speaker of the House that I voted for passed the Democrats' agenda in full to the point where they were cheering this guy on, I got pretty mad, and so did most Americans across the country. So, you know, I think it's good to be able to get along with people you work with, but we're not here to hold hands and be friends with each other. We're here to work for the American people, and I take that very seriously.
And I love that about you. But is it fair to say then that's water under the bridge? You know, you're not happy still to this day about that bill, but you're looking forward to moving forward, or you're still pissed off?
Oh, I have absolute very high expectations for people in leadership because that's a job they ask for and that's a job they pursue. And they have a responsibility to every Republican member of our conference. They have a responsibility to the American people. And they can't just go on television and talk nice and say the things people want to hear if they're not willing to deliver them. So, no, for me, accountability is really important. And when they don't do the job, I believe in firing them. So, no, that hasn't changed. But hopefully he can do a good job going into September 30th.
This is the pride of Georgia. Forget about Kirby Smart and the Bulldogs. They look really good again this year. My friend Marjorie Taylor Greene. All right, so let's move on to what the House is doing now with this whole mess in Afghanistan. I know that you guys are looking to bring somebody up on charges. And just unbelievable that 13 people died. And Harris, and of course this is what they do, you know this, Harris actually blamed all of it on Trump, which is amazing because poor Trump was at home. But what exactly is going on in the House with this Afghanistan mess?
Well, Sid, you're so smart, and you're right to bring that up. That's a true issue that matters in the heart of Americans, and it should matter. And it matters to veterans. It matters to everyone that served, and it especially matters to military families and Gold Star families. You know, again, we're going back in session today after being out of session far too long, and hearings will start up. But, you know, I think there has not been enough accountability for this administration and their massive failures. I really hope that there is accountability brought on behalf of those 13 Gold Star families. But I'll remain hopeful, but at the same time concerned that not enough will be done.
See, that seems to be the rub, Marjorie, with the House. The intentions are always great, right? Like, we want to put the Bidens in jail because the big guy's taking all this money and Hunter's a degenerate lowlife. And, you know, we want people to pay for Afghanistan because people died there. And we want Mayorkas to go to prison because the border's wide open. It's an absolute mess. I mean, the heart's always in the right place. But I always say to Anthony and Mike and all those guys, as long as the Democrats are in charge of the Senate, all this great stuff you guys want to do a lot of the time, dust dies. You know, I mean, how long did Chuck Schumer, that lowlife, have that great border bill on his desk? It's been there for almost 2 years. He's done nothing with it. So you get frustrated, Marjorie, that you got all these great bills and these great ideas, but you really can't push it through without bipartisan help?
Oh, I'm beyond frustrated. That's why the country saw me take it out on Mike Johnson. Beyond frustrated. And I think it's unacceptable. You know, again, I come from private industry where we actually solve problems. We make a profit, not a loss, and we do a good job for our customer. The American people are the customer. They are the taxpayers. So, yeah, I'm beyond frustrated. And I truly believe it's unacceptable. And I don't think it's enough for members of Congress to say, oh, we're trying. No, we need to get in a room and stay in the room until we get it done. And that's how I think it's reached a height now where we can't be allowed to get away with, okay, next Congress will do this, and then next time we'll do this. Yeah. It's gone too far.
I agree, and that's why, you know, we talk about, and you and I both love Donald Trump. We'll get to him in a moment, but it is vitally important that we also get the Senate, right? We want the House, we want Senate, we want Pennsylvania Avenue, because if we don't do that, there may be a lot more of, oh, next time around, and people like you and I don't want to hear that anymore.
Oh, that's right. The Senate is crucial. You know, I'm going to give everybody some hope this morning. I feel really strong about winning the majority in the Senate in November. And, you know, if the world falls apart and we don't have the White House and we don't have the House of Representatives, having the majority in the Senate will provide a backstop that will stop horrible things from going through. So I do want to tell you guys that it's looking really good for the Senate. We have to fight hard for the House. We need to keep the majority in the House. The House is going to be writing the tax code, which is important for every single one of us because the Democrats are going to raise taxes. And then obviously we got to get Trump back in the White House so that he can sign, you know, great bills like our HR2, border security, and a great tax code that continues on the tax cuts and savings plans and makes it even better. So this is a full-out brawl until November 5th.
So talking about Trump, so he's on this show about a month ago, you know, and that's when I called Doug Emhoff a crappy Jew, and they got hammered everywhere. They still make fun of me. But I say to Trump, I go, Mr. President, enough with this nice nonsense. My God, you know, I never hear Democrats ever, Marjorie, take Biden to task, take Harris to task, take Hillary to task. Republicans, they're so annoying. Even with Trump, he has to be nice. We're going to lose. He has to be nice. They're trying to put this guy in prison. They tried to kill this guy. You're going to have a debate tomorrow night where Harris is going to call him a convicted felon. I promise you, 5 times. What is it? Enough with the nice. He's nice when he has to be. And when he has to fire back, shouldn't he be allowed?
You know, you would think he'd be allowed because they have been calling this man the worst names possible ever since he walked out there and dared to run against Hillary Clinton. You know, that's really the crime he committed. He beat Hillary in 2016 and they never got over it. And yeah, it's, you know, they criticize him if he fires back at them. They criticize him if he's too nice. I think President Trump just needs to be himself. And tell America the policies that, you know, that he's already proven in 4 years as president and that he knows he can do again for 4 years back in the White House. I think that's what he needs to do tomorrow night on the debate stage and let Kamala expose herself for who she really is.
So on the way out, Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'm so happy we met in Milwaukee because now that I met you, on again today, I do love you. I think you're terrific. I really do.
Well, thank you.
I really do. So tomorrow night, you saw what you expect to see from Donald Trump. Me too. And do you agree that with a good showing tomorrow night, he paves his way to a victory? Does it really come down to tomorrow night?
I think tomorrow night is probably going to be one of the most important elements going into November 5th. This debate is going to set the scene between the two, and America hasn't seen that yet. We've seen Joe Biden and Donald Trump. That was no surprise. There wasn't anything shocking there for us. I think the only thing that shocked Democrats is that, yeah, his dementia is as bad as we've been telling them. But they haven't seen Kamala and Trump next to each other. And I think that is going to really be the defining moment, probably going into November 5th, because they're saying, you know, I don't know about the polls, but everyone's saying that voters are pretty much set, and there's not a big percentage left up for grabs to go for one or the other. So I think tomorrow night is going to be big.
Couldn't agree more. Well, Marjorie, it's great to catch up with you. Just, you know, I just texted Esposito. I said, make sure you buy Marjorie dinner tonight at the Capitol Grill. I don't want to hear nothing about you. You got to buy it for her.
Thank you.
And we'll do this again, hopefully very, very soon. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you. Have a great week.
You too. You too. Welcome back. Marjorie Taylor Greene right there on Sid and Friends in the Morning. And the House is actually back to work today.